speaking truth, seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of meager me. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dream. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't. Really, it ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun. It's an everyday theme. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave is how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not Haram or beef.
Peace. Happy Friday, happy holy day to all of the Muslims on the line. Thank y'all for checking in with us for our regular Friday night book reading. My name is Barclay Bay. I'm here on behalf of the Bernie Bush Science Tabernacle, Science Temple and School. And so really excited here to bring to you something that's near and dear to, I think, an understanding that a lot of Moors do have. This may be new information for people who may never have heard this before. So welcome. For those of you that are listening or tapping in maybe for your first time. You can always become a sub by hitting like and subscribe on our YouTube page. We really appreciate that as well. But I'm just going to spend a few minutes here. Again, we always try to keep these readings under an hour, just so that way we're not spending too much time and can really keep your attention as high as possible. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and say our Moorish American prayer, and then I will get right into the lesson for today. All right. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God and my salvation by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Ali, Shalom Aleichem, I.S.L.A.M, Hotep, Islam, peace. So thank you guys. Again, I'm out here on the West Coast, bringing this to you live. Weather is good. It's been a little warm, but it's starting to slow down and get into the fall type weather. So even though it's still warm here on the West Coast, it feels like, or you can kind of sense that, the degrees is knocking down a notch every single day. So, but again, we appreciate it. I love being in warmer weather because I just, having been out here now for a while, I really just appreciate it and can't picture myself in any other weather, to be honest with you. So, as I mentioned a moment ago, today's principle reading is coming out of the 5 principles of Islam. Islam, I.S.L.A.M, stand for I, self, law, am, master. And so I'm going to get into a number of pages in this book. They're going to break down some of the symbology so you can have maybe a better understanding of it. If this is something that you're not familiar with, certainly for those that may be more familiar with this particular topic, you'll hear a lot of things that will probably already resonate with things you already understand and know. So I'm going to get started here from the beginning. The crescent and the star, the eye of Islam. The banner of the crescent and the star, or the flag with the moon and the 5-pointed star in the center, is the insignia of the Asiatic or Moorish nation. It is the mother of all national banners of the world today because it is the oldest. The flag with the Moorish crescent and the star represents the entire human family. When reading and writing in any language, there are only 2 principal directions in which one may go: lateral, which is crosswise or across, and or vertical, which is up and down. All other movements in any direction are just varying degrees of the main 2. When reading the meaning of the crescent and the star, no matter from which direction one reads, the moon is always first and is in the following manner, and is read in the following manner: from left to right. Moon and star from right to left. Moon and star, which there are a couple of insignias, and then from top to down. Moon and star from bottom up. Moon and star. Latin and its many dialects are read from left to right. Arabic, Hebrew, Sanskrit are read from right to left. Japanese and Chinese are read from top down. Thus, the sun, the great female principle, can be shown to be the generator of all the apparent phenomena known to man in any language. The 3 meanings of the moon and the star. moon and sun. As moon and sun, the crescent and the star represents both the negative magnetic force and the positive electric force. Woman and sun. As woman and sun, the crescent and the star symbolizes the great universal woman, the universal womb or matter in its most elementary state, which generates or produces all forms, visible or invisible. These forms are the sun principle to balance woman. When we talk about those visible and invisible, we're talking about esoteric versus exoteric, meaning those the things that we can see, but also the other side of the other side of the coin, so to speak, which are the things that maybe we don't necessarily aren't visible to the naked eye, shall I say. Widow and son, and this is of masonry, quote unquote, I am a widowed son in need, indeed, says the Masonic Brethren, simply because when woman gives birth to a male, he is her son. So all males are sons. And since all males are sons, women can have no husband. She is therefore truly a widow. The moon or crescent represents the woman, widow, or female principle. In mythology, the moon was personified by the Greeks as a goddess, Luna. Luna is the Latin word for moon. The ancients associated fertility, growth, and decay with the lunation phases. The moon factor is the mediator between the past and the present, accumulating the whole story of man's personal evolution within the fluids of brain and body. The moon establishes an essential rhythm in the body and instinctive mind. As an ebb and flow of sensation and emotional experience, the moon is connected with the deepest associations of one's families and ancestry, especially the mother. Powerful mother-child relationships begin in the womb. Hence, the moon indicates the mother complex. And I know when you're talking about also the symbology, astrology, the moon certainly is associated with your feelings, your deepest, innermost feelings, the part of you that very, very rarely you ever allow people to really see, but it's the really true essence of your emotional being. The star or the sun represents the male, sun principle. In mythology, the sun was personified as the all-pervading creative power in nature, or the masculine principle. These two principles, represented in Genesis as Adam and Eve, these two souls are the absolute expression of masculine and feminine rays, of which absolute atomic self is composed. The masculine ray contains a portion of self forces, and the feminine ray must likewise contain a portion of the positive qualities. And again, the sun, going back to astrology again, as I referenced the moon a minute ago, the sun deals more with your outward expression of who you are. And when you're reading, say, a natal chart, it'll represent those types of characteristics, the presentation that you allow others to see of you, as you will, your best version of yourself, the presentation of the best version of yourself, so to speak. I continue. This is the principle of gender. These souls, therefore, contain a portion of each other. They constitute the sun and the moon of self-creation. This principle of gender is one of the 7 hermetic principles. When these rays become differentiated, they are still as eternal and immortal as the self which called them into existence. They constitute the divine idea of a parent. As such, they become the divine expression of love and wisdom upon the earth. The ancients seem to think that all souls come into their first human incarnation, take it in the sign of Cancer. This sign has been recognized through the ages as the doorway into the life of those who must know death. Its opposite, Capricorn, esoterically is known as the quote-unquote doorway into life of those who know not death. Cancer is the symbol of the womb or the universal woman. On some ancient Egyptian tablets, the moon and the sun principles are astrologically written and esoterically interpreted. The sun is symbolized as a flaming splendor, a center of light, radiating in all directions. It is the symbol of all created life, spiritual and material, of all goodness, human and divine, of all creations, from starry systems to man. Light is life. The planets are the offspring of light and life. Mankind is the offspring of light and life. In this symbol, we read the source of the human ego. Another tablet depicts the symbol of Cancer, the moon. Here, Cancer is typified by a woman's face, unconscious, in a trance, surrounded by clouds. This dreaming woman represents reflection. Her thoughts shape the coming of man. She is sleeping and knows not her powers. She must awaken and recognize herself. In this, it is the great lesson to woman. Ever remember thy creative power and thy mother of humanity of the future. The sun is thy mansion, exerts its highest power. Still, another tablet of the same set depicts Leo, or the masculine principle of the sun, exerted on the physical. Here we have the symbol of the fire of the spirit. The woman sleeps and dreams, but the man she has brought forth is awake and bids defiance to the fiery forces of nature. He has armed himself with the keen knife of action, and with it has conquered the forces of matter. Thus, he has mastered all inferior to spirit. This can account for the aggressiveness of male sons and their active fighting nature. The woman is passive and retiring. As the last degree of Cancer, which is water, merged into Leo, the strong throne of the sun, it is typical of fructification. And during the heated terms, this renders Virgo, the sign which Leo merges or goes into, fruitful for harvest in due time. Cancer is the clean and pure water sign and the favorite house of the moon, which rules 1, the human mind, 2, conception, and 3, water. The moon's strong place is Cancer. The sun's strong place is Leo. These astrological principles are followed by the human sign Virgo, or celestial virgin, whom seed fructified and quickened. The water or menstrual of nature was vitalized by the sun's rays. This caused the fruit or harvest to mature. Thus, the moon and the sun principle can be seen in the stars as well as in nature. And for those of us who, I think anybody who's listening to this, you've heard of the term, as above, so below. This is one of the dual meanings of that particular saying. In Freemasonry, the brethren of that order are called, quote unquote, sons of the widow, who are in need indeed. And it is stated in the Bible that Hiram Abif, in Greek it is called Hiram Abif, the master builder of souls, On's temple, was the son of a widow. Now the word Solomon is composed from 3 languages: Latin, sol or solus for son, Sanskrit, or om, and Ethiopic, on. The woman is a widow because she has no husband. All the children enter the earth by way of a woman. She is the great creator, one who can build a temple, quote unquote, a body, without the sounds of a hammer or the use of a nail. Solomon was ordered to build the temple without the sounds of hammers. Hiram represents the fire or sun principle within man. Naturally, the spiritualized mind with the fire principle must do the work of forming and shaping this temple. It is built without the sound of hammers within the negative sphere of the widow. Hiram represents the positive, physical, intellectual principle. The widow represents the negative, spiritual, intellectual principle. And we know in our Morse Quran, we talk about those workman tools that build up perfected man. Those are ones that we're very, very familiar with. The axe, the plume, the compass, the square, all of them play a role in helping do that. All of them help create and cultivate the perfected self that we're all looking to master. We're all looking to create, each and every day. But sometimes we may not understand how all of these particular tools work together, or more importantly, how they should actually be used. Because having a tool but not knowing how to use it is as worthless as maybe not even understanding that you even have tools that can be used, if that makes sense. So the early Semites, which are Hebrews, regarded the principal deity of each oasis as a goddess and the next important deity as her son. The goddess appears to have been the spirit of the spring, which gave the oasis its fertility and was consequently thought to reside in the spring. The sun appears to have been regarded as the spirit of the vegetation. Spring can be correlated to the, and forgive me because on this, on your screens here, you may see page 5 and it's showing upside down, but I actually have it printed the correct way. So I'm going to go ahead and read page 5, even though you won't be able to see it on the broadcast here. But I'm going to read word for word what page 5 reads. So as I continue from the end of page 4, spring can be correlated to the earth, and vegetation is an outgrowth of the earth. Here, the spring is the woman and the vegetation is her son. They're called the mother goddess by the name which is found among the Semitic nations known to history. It appears among the Babylonians as Ishtar, the Phoenicians as Ashtart, and the Egyptians as Isis. These earth goddesses can be correlated to the earth sign of fertility, which is Virgo. All these names were later changed to different names by the Hebrews or Semitic tribes and placed in their religious works. The Hebrew word for the female or Eve principle of the moon was Ashtoreth, which apparently meant the self-waterer. The word for the male or Adam principle of the sun was Tammuz, which meant son of life. This positive and negative principle is also displayed in the Egyptian Sphinx, which has the entire body of the lion or Leo male and the head of the Virgin or Virgo female. Virgo is the sixth sign and typifies fertility. The Virgo or garden is the place where corn or grain is kept or raised. It is a storehouse. Virgo was pictured as holding an ear of corn and later a sheaf of wheat. Egypt was the storehouse or mother of a child or colony of the governors of the earth. The Sphinx is the key to where the earth begins and ends. The word Sphinx in Greek means to join closely together. Virgo and Leo are the star and the crescent in Egypt. They are the Alpha and Omega. The sons of a widow or woman are the only supreme beings who can stand in the form of one cross with both feet together, and both arms are held out or horizontally to the ground. A 5-pointed star or 3 in a straight line like the eye, whereas standing erect or lying down. When standing 3 feet apart and arms outstretched, suns are representative of the 5-point star, which are 72 degrees apart, which 72 times 5 makes up to 360 degrees. When standing like this, they represent the 5 great principles of woman's universal perfections in the course of 9 months. The letter I stands for the individual who cannot be divided. As for man as supreme manifestations, which is the number 9, furthermore, before one can cope successfully with the problems of life, one must get one's I together by realizing that everything is the I, and that any attempt to harm another seemingly part of it will be just another quote unquote painful experience to the evolving soul. You are the supreme manifestation of the number 9, which is I, and to prove it, 1, normal childbirth takes place after 9 months. 2, man's average heartbeat is 72 times per minute, which 7 plus 2 is 9. 3, man's average step is 3 feet, so 12 times 3 is 36, and 3 plus 6, again, when you're speaking of numerology, is 9 inches. Number 4, the moon goes through 4 phases per month, so 4 times 9, 9 months of gestation, which is 36 months. Once again, there's that 3 plus 6, which equals 9. We have now proved that you are supreme manifestation, and the following 4 phases of the moon encapsulate that proof. 1, the new moon. 2, the first quarter. 3, the full moon. And 4, the last quarter. And again, that's another thing. I don't think that for a lot of people, we get an opportunity to have somebody or are exposed to supreme mathematics, which really teaches you how to count numbers and what their meaning of those are. You can also come up with what's called life paths or life numbers, which are a numeric value that includes the date of your birth and the year, which helps give you also information as to who you are, what your purpose here is, the things that are on your heart, maybe what your spirit is trying to kind of communicate to you as far as what you need to be doing while you're here in life. I mean, again, to be living, to be breathing is certainly something that is something we all should extremely appreciate the opportunity to do so, because we all know at this point, at this stage in our life, somebody who is no longer able to do that. And so to be able to get up every day, to be able to be excited, even for the littlest of little things that we get to do every day, it should be something that brings joy to our heart. It should be something that should bring a level of peace to us as well. And so I would implore everybody who's listening to this today to find a reason to be excited. Every single day you get a chance to get up, call that person, whether that's your parent, your significant other, maybe a sibling, some other relative. Tell them thank you. Tell them I apologize. Tell them I'm sorry. We've got to find a way to enjoy getting up every day, because things happen and things change in life. And I think part of why those changes are sometimes so difficult is because we're not enjoying the now. We're not present enough to really be appreciative of what's happening, because if so, we probably would make different types of decisions, which obviously have an impact on things that happen to us in the future. So forgive me for going on that little tangent there, but I just wanted to kind of share that. So as you see at the top of the screen, you have the pyramid, which is the S of Islam. The pyramid is the second symbol in Islam. Its apex at the top indicates that man's essence is spirit. If the apex were pointed down to the triangle would represent matter. These three equal sides of the triangle symbolize in universal terminology the positive, the negative, and the offspring or union of two male-female principles. On top of the pyramid is the all-seeing eye, which stands for the I in you. The glory or light at the top of the pyramid symbolizes knowledge, wisdom, and light. However, the capstone on the great pyramid on the back of the dollar bill is not connected to its base because the masses of humanity are ignorant of their essence, which is spirit, their history, and their heritage, which is, I think in and of itself, just listening to that last sentence right there certainly can be profound. There's a lot of things about life that a lot of us, I would imagine, I can't speak for everybody, what I would imagine people haven't always taken the time to try to explain or to dive into in some particular way. And we all have to be, guilty of listening to just any and every explanation, about things, because sometimes you'll hear things, and if you don't do your own research and you don't try to get to the source or get to an understanding for yourself of what it is that's being presented to you, that you may, digest something that may not be as accurate as you think it is. But again, if we don't have no way to kind of be a checks and balances and take a look at that, then we very well may assume that we are right about something until somebody comes wrong and says, hey, can I offer you maybe another way to looking at, or another thought, another perspective, on that. And if we're open to that, sometimes we may get information that really becomes eye-opening, so to speak. So, however, the capstone on the, I'll just read that sentence again. However, the capstone on the great pyramid on the back of the dollar bill is not connected to its base because the masses of humanity are ignorant of their essence, which is spirit, which I think we all, probably anybody listening to this would probably agree to at a certain degree, their history. We can obviously be taught, especially if you're, a melanated person, aka a misnomer Black person, you definitely probably didn't really and haven't gotten a really, really true understanding of your history. And then your heritage, I mean, a lot of folks, I think, fall under these categories, not really having a really good understanding of any of those three. Man's status in this world is controlled by those who know. Consequently, his status is determined by the quality of his own thinking. Again, I'll read that again. Man's status in the world is controlled by those who know, meaning know thyself. Consequently, his status is determined by the quality of his own thinking, meaning if you don't have knowledge, if you don't know yourself, if you don't know things to be true, then your actions and the quality of your thinking are going to be determined by these falsehoods. He who knows all that can be known by intellectual energy is a god among men. The men who control the political and economical systems of the world are the ones who have capped their pyramids. Ignorance has kept mankind in darkness and in grief, but no man should grieve, for grief is the most serious of all diseases. Nature permits man to do anything he desires. He is limited only by his own ignorance, his own laws and customs. The pyramid is an example of perfect orientation. It is self. The pyramid is also built upon a square, just as a man is born on the square. The square base is a constant reminder that the house of wisdom is firmly founded upon nature and her immutable laws. The angles of the square are silence, profundity, intelligence, and truth. They also represent the extremities of heat and cold, south and north, and light and darkness, which are east and west. Man is a fourfold unit concerning the elements of his own constitution, and the earth, fire, air, and water are one of the fundamental keys to the mastery of the Great Pyramid. So we have a couple of symbols that you can see here on the screen here. You have the pyramid from a side view, and then you also have a pyramid from the top-down view, where you can see the four elements that constitute the fundamental keys to the mystery of both man and the Great Pyramid. So, okay. The fluid enclosed by the basic lines of the floor ideographs is an equilateral square base of the pyramid. The apex or center is the all-seeing eye, or the esoteric, quote-unquote, psychic, or the quote-unquote star of the east. The pyramid can be likened to the universe and the capstone to man. The mind is capstone of man. The spirit is the capstone of the mind, and the God is the epitome of the whole, or the capstone of the spirit. The temple is complete only when the person himself becomes the living apex through which the divine power is focused into the verging structure below. Mind over matter. I'll read that last sentence again. Just the temple is complete only when the person himself becomes the living apex through which the divine power is focused into the diverging structure below. Mind over matter. The majority of the humanity's eyes are closed. When these eyes are open, the conscious and subconscious will be fully aware of what each is doing. At this stage, the human body or temple can regenerate. The exact science of human regeneration is called the lost key in Masonry. The compass in the square. The L of Islam. The ancient Moors were navigators. Moors meaning navigator of the seven seas, guided by the North Star. And in order to navigate, they used a compass and a square. A compass has 32 points. 3 times 2. Well, 3 plus 2 equals 5. The life instrument was used as a way of life for the Moors. The compass was an instrument used to draw circles, and the 2 legs embody the idea of a male force meeting a female force at an angle. The angle is measured in different planes. The right hand of the man is the executive or the positive, so to the right leg of the compass was taken to signify the positive force, and the left hand of the man is receptive, so the left leg of the compass was taken to represent a negative force. In ancient masonry, the union of zodiacal motion and declination was symbolized by the union of the compass and the square. The square placed below is typically the purely physical union of the sexes. In astrology, the inharmonious aspects of each constitute a portion of the square or angle of 90 degrees. Semi-square, square, sesqui-square, and double square, or opposition, and the right angle has been used from time to time to symbol of discord and strife. It becomes a fitting emblem, therefore, of man and woman when united from purely selfish and carnal motives. It thus represents the result of the ignorance so prevalent in the present day matrimonial system. In conclusion, the square represents the following: man and his 4 essence, spirit, mind, soul, and body. Something to build on, because all solid foundations have 4 corners, i.e. a square. Also, the angle formed by the positive stationary male leg of the compass and the receptive movable female leg is less than a right angle. It should approximate 60 degrees, which is the sextile or 6 of creation. The sextile is used to denote harmony and joy. The letter G typifies the generation of offspring as a result of physical union. But in order that these progeny may be endowed with soundness of body and mind and thus become a blessing to the parents and the human race, the ancient Masons taught that there must be a higher union in addition to the physical, as indicated by the compass above, which is spiritual. The spiritual as well as the physical laws must be obeyed. The following diagrams show various spirit-matter relationships with regard to the compass and the square and man's final triumph as spirit over matter. The presence of the right angle triangles in figure 3, which is on the left of the screen, is of importance symbolically, for the right angle triangle has been used to remote times to symbolize spirit and matter in their inclusiveness. When an angle is shown with its points upwards, it signifies spirit, or the celestial reversed with the pointed downwards indicates matter or earth. In Masonry, however, the compass replaces the upper triangle. In figure 4, the two ends of the spiritual right angle are below those of the material, so that they indicate spirit's complete submergence into matter and the temporary triumph over matter over spirit. In figure 5, we have more light form an arm, for one arm is above the square. In other words, one arm of the spiritual right angle is above the corresponding arm of the material right angle, indicating the gradual emergence of spirit from matter. Figure 6 symbolizes the triumph of spirit over matter. For here, both arms of the spiritual right angle are over both arms of the material right angle. Not only has quote unquote further light been given, but in the triumph of spirit over matter, or the flesh, all the light can be conferred on a quote unquote master has been awarded the proficient neophyte. The symbol not only indicates the triumph of spirit, but its resurrection, ascent, and dominion over all material conditions. The union of the compass and the square form a diamond, the hardest and most precious of stones. With the G in the center, it is the diamond in the rough. When ground and polished, it becomes a diamond without a blemish, and the God within then becomes manifest. This condition is symbolically represented by the Hebrew letters Jodhevauhe, Jod Voie. With the compass and square, and to accomplish this, one must master the physical, which may be done scientifically or spiritual. Therefore, before the polished jewel can appear, there must be the stone in the rough. Moreover, do not reject the stone because of the G. The G shows the initiate the path he must take. Accept it as it is found, but seek to learn the laws of workmanship governs its transformation from an unsightly pebble into a shining gem. In Masonry, the G represents geometry. Math has 4 divisions, which are algebra, geometry, trigonometry, and calculus. Geometry is the universal law of perfection, the science of which the cultured Moors have always had and which will always be in the hands of their kinky-haired descendants of North America. Therefore, the Moorish nation of North America cannot be destroyed. Okay. Thank you. That was a fun little reading. We still have a few more, and so maybe I'll come back next week and finish that off on the last 2, because we did the I, we did the self, we did the law, and so we have the 2 last symbols, which is the am and then the master, the am. So those are the only 2 that we still have left. So thank you for your time and being here and being patient with us as we go through this Friday night reading. I know the 5th page was a little weird, but hopefully you guys were able to listen along as I read it. And hopefully these things that we're bringing to your attention, they may spark some interest. They may spark some insight or some desire for you to want to do a little bit more reading. We here at the Burning Bush Science Tabernacle Temple and School, reading is a fundamental part of life. And I think if you would speak to anybody in business or success in any way, shape, or form, you'd find that reading plays a huge role in what they do and how they prepare themselves each and every day. And so we encourage you guys to get out here and read with us as much as possible. That's why we put on this Friday night reading every Friday. Usually it takes place at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we just try to provide a venue to just try to read a whole bunch of different varying types of books on a lot of different subjects, just to show you guys that we have a vast amount of knowledge, and there's so much out there in life to learn that you should be trying to learn as many different types of things as you can. And so again, I want to say thank you for those that came on here and spent some time over here listening to us today on this Friday night book reading. You can always tap in with us at www.bbtsciencetemple.com, which is our Temple and School website. If you need any literature like the book that I was reading from, or there's other literatures that we can pull up, you can reach out to us at our one company, which is www.mypdfbooks, that's books with a Z.com. The other one is www.bindedbooks.com if you need something printed and binded. Again, on those two sites, we sell PDFs that you can get and download onto your specific devices, whether it's your phone, tablets or otherwise. But it also allows you, if you want to get it printed and bind it. Because if you're like me, sometimes I like to flip the pages, right? And if you like to flip the pages in the same way, we also print and bind them so that you'll have that option available to you as well. So without further ado, we thank you for being with us here on this Friday night book reading. We hope you enjoy the rest of your evening as we move into this weekend. And again, always try to be the best version of yourself. You owe it to not just yourself, but all those that are around you and that are connected to who you are. So with that, we say peace, 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 peace.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of me. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dreams. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't. Really, it ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun, it's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not harangued.